Okay, let's get this done then. Well, that's going well. But what I thought we'd talk about was that Prince Karim Al Husseini died this week. He passed away in Portugal Tuesday, and his funeral will be on Saturday, which would have been yesterday if you're watching on Sunday. And why is this relevant? Well, because he was a Maserati man. So he owned a Sebring, he had a Ghibli, he had a Quattroporte, but he also had some rather special Maseratis, some of the most exclusive. So he had a hand-built 5000 GT, which is an amazing car. Now this was the Frua built one, and these 5000 GTs were astonishing cars. With the 5.9 V8 with Lucas fuel injection, which you'll have seen my Lucas films, and you'll have seen me put in 5.9 V8 into a Ghibli. So it's all that stuff in a Frua coach-built two-door coupe. And there's a wonderful film, one of Simon Kidston's films about this car, which we'll put a link in the description so you can look at that at the end of this. And of course, with the 5000 GT, that was effectively the birth of the Quattroporte. And the Quattroporte was really, for people like the Aga Khan, with that in mind. And Maserati was so confident in their creation, they just called it Quattroporte, the four-door. It's, didn't need anything more than that. It was the world's fastest saloon car, or four-door saloon car when it came out. And, yeah, quite magnificent. So he had one of them, and he had the 5000 GT. And then he needed to have an even more special Quattroporte. So they built one for him, just for him. Another fur design, but totally different in its execution to the traditional fur-built Quattroporte. And they made two of them. And I was lucky enough to have a good look at it, because an American collector owned it at one point, and Martin Buckley, who I'm matey with, you'd have seen me work on his 130 saloon, coupe. Anyway, so Martin, he managed to get hold of it off of this American collector, and I remember him telling me about it, and extremely excited about it. But he couldn't really afford to keep it. It was just an idea that he knew he could get it and he could own it for a bit, and to at least have had it was the thing, and bring it back to the UK. And then he had to sell it, and it then went on to Steve Dowling, who's a major collector of Maserati, who also owned a 5000 GT. So there's something, poetic there. And he got it restored by McGrath Maserati. So, of course, they've been looking after this car and they know it intimately. And occasionally I get to visit and see Andy at McGrath. And I particularly wanted to get to see the Frua Quattroporte, the Aga Kahn car, before it was sold, because it's now been sold again. So Andy was kind enough to show me around and sort of explain to me the details and, tell me in depth about the car, which was wonderful, so I was very pleased to see that. And if you watch, you'll see my footage that I took of it. But if you want to know more about it, there's articles in Classic and Sports Car that Martin wrote about it. I think there's some Auto Italia stuff that Michael Ward's done. And it is still on the McGrath Maserati website, so you can have a look there to get some more details of it and a bit more information. And I'm sure Andy's written about it as well. So that's quite something, that's quite a treat. So let's have a look at that. And you can remember Prince Karim and, worth his weight in gold, apparently. Every year he would be given his weight in gold by his followers. Well, that's not bad, isn't it? That'll pay for running costs on a Quattroporte. So let's have a look at the footage, and we'll enjoy that. There we are. Good night.